Hello and welcome to week 7 of the Intuition Connection Summer School with me, Ruth Ann Richards. I'm the creator of the Intuition Connection, author of Reclaim Your Intuition. I believe that sadly, over time, we've lost this deep, rich and meaningful connection to our intuition, and I'm on a mission to help more people find it, connect to it and reclaim it, because when we do, life becomes easier and we feel more empowered, and I would love more women to feel that way. So welcome to this week 7. So over the past 6 weeks, we have covered what's intuition, we've looked at the otherworldly, the importance of coherence, busted some myths about manifesting, and I've shared my proprietary CAP method to help you supercharge your co-creating with the universe. And last week, we went deep and meaningful with the divine feminine. So we're going a bit more practical this week, practical but otherworldly. So now you're starting to know your own views about your intuition, I'm going to share with you one of my favourite ways to access your intuitive knowing, and that's with oracles. Now, before I get going, let me remind you, I have to look at my notes and check my notes regularly, because if not, I'd be off at a tangent and this would be like a 3-hour video. So I'm going to keep checking my notes. Oracles. What do I mean by oracles? You may think of it as an oracle card or an oracle deck. You may know the phrase oracle messages. So I use some different words, and I want to explain the words that I use because I believe that words have vibrational frequencies. And I use the word oracle and oracles rather than oracle deck or decks. And I use the word oracle messages rather than oracle cards. So when I talk about an oracle, I'm talking about the complete oracle set that you get, an oracle deck. When I talk about message, I'm talking about the image and the words that come on the card that you get within the deck. So I hope that makes sense to you. But for me, oracle and oracle message has a higher vibrational frequency. So if you feel that too, I invite you to use those words as well. So this lesson is for you if you're new to oracles, you're not sure what an oracle is, but you're interested to find out. So find your comfortable place, get your cup up, maybe a notebook and a pen, and we'll get going. Before I answer the question, why use an oracle, I want to talk a little bit about the word oracle and where it might come from. In ancient Greece, there was a female priestess who was called an oracle. She offered wise counsel and guidance and advice, and she was considered to channel this from the gods or gods. You may have heard of the oracle at Delphi, and Delphi was the place in ancient Greece that was the temple where people would go to see the oracle and ask the priestess their questions and to ask for help. History and mythology has it that the oracle could channel from the otherworldly, but there's also a sense of prophecy about it, that the oracle would tell prophecies, in a sense, fortune telling. Now, when we fast forward to today, oracles are a product used for divination. And my interpretation of divination simply means a way that helps us to connect to the otherworldly. Oracles for me are not for fortune telling, they're not for prophecy, they're not for prediction, because the world is not that straightforward. The universe is not that straightforward. The universe is in constant flux and flow, creating conditions for different things to happen. So I think it's impossible these days to make prophecy or prediction. But what it can do when we connect and channel that divination, the otherworldly, the universe, it can give us answers and intuitive information and new information to situations that we're dealing with that can help us in the present time. And that for me is where the magic and the empowerment of an oracle is. It's about helping us live in our daily lives in the best way we can. So why use an oracle? Well, probably because some of the similar reasons that people did back in ancient Greece and have done through millennia. We want to know how something is going to work out. We want to know if it's going to work out in our favour. We want guidance about a decision we're making or reassurance we're making the right choice. We want to know when we're going to meet the love of our life and our soulmates, and is it true love? And is our latest project going to be the next big thing that makes us a millionaire? And all those are the questions that consume our conscious mind. So if you came to someone like me, an intuitive or a psychic, for answers to these questions, and we use an oracle, it's called an oracle reading. We are reading for you. An intuitive or oracle reader does more than look at the messages or the cards. We use our intuition to see how that message relates to your life by channeling the otherworldly through that image and connecting to your intuition. Or you can read an oracle for yourself, choosing a message for guidance to help you with a problem or dilemma in your life. Now, if you're starting to understand more about oracle and you are wondering what's the difference between tarot and an oracle, that's a good question. This is my interpretation. For me, tarot is quite a medieval way of reading. And although designs on tarots may vary, different artwork and different images, the messages are always the same. And tarot consists of different sections called the major arcana, the minor arcana, and it has 4 suites, which are the wands, the swords, the cups, and the coins. So every message in every one of those cards is going to be the same, whatever the artwork on the tarot is that you use. Oracles, on the other hand, are very different. Oracles are more contemporary, and there's probably an oracle for every different subject you can imagine. They come in many themes, so it could be nature, forests, fairies, ancient wisdom, animals, chakras, and all have artwork. They have images on each of the cards, those are called messages, and almost all oracles include a guidebook, which is the creator's guidance on each of the messages. But the point of any oracle goes back to the ancient human feeling of wanting answers and needing help and reassurance, and thinking, hoping and believing that the otherworldly can give that to us. So why use an oracle? Essentially, using an oracle gives you new information, intuitive information from the otherworldly that's not available from your conscious mind or any intellectual knowing. And that intuitive information from the otherworldly is a new and different perspective on a situation, relationship or problem to help you understand more about the situation. And having that additional intuitive information empowers you to look differently and make the right choice and take the right action for you. And that is why you would use an oracle. It's really easy to choose an oracle. I know there's a lot out there that you could choose from, lots of options covering every possible kind of subject and concept. But think about ones that you would be interested in. Ancient wisdom, goddesses, priestesses, native and indigenous wisdom and cultures, and nature, forest, wood, flower, trees, fairies, you name it, it's there. So when you're choosing an oracle, choose with your heart, not with your conscious mind. Look at the box, look at the artwork, look at the images, the words, and go with what appeals to you or what draws you in and what you like the look of. It really is that simple. If that feels too simple for you and conscious mind is saying, oh, there has to be something more to it, then when you find an oracle that you like the look of, search the author or creator to find out more about them. Look at their website and see if how they present themselves, how they talk about intuition works for you. So don't overthink it when choosing an oracle. Go with your intuition. Go with what you like the look of. It's as simple as that. Once you have an oracle, or if you're going for an oracle reading, remember you're following in the footsteps of ancient women and an ancient tradition that humans, mostly women I believe, have been using for millennia in one way or the other, and that is asking the otherworldly for guidance. It's a sacred process, one that requires time and your full attention, and one to be honoured. Before I do an oracle reading, I make sure I clear the desk or table of clutter. I cleanse the air, either with a diffuser and an essential oil, or I sage to cleanse. And for a new oracle, I like to infuse it with my spirit. So I hold the oracle for a while, and I look through each message. And I do that for 2 reasons. Firstly, often when you have a new oracle, the cards, messages do stick together, and it's a good way to separate them. But it's also a good way to get familiar with the messages. And when you get a new oracle, the guidebook that goes with it will have the creator's guidance on what they advise you to do. Sometimes they suggest a knock on the oracle that knocks out any energy in the oracle that's been created through production and manufacturing. and then another knock to infuse it with your spirit. See what's in the guidebook. I say find a nice space to keep your oracles. You can see behind me, mine sit on my bookshelves. Some of my favourite ornaments are around them. I split them up by author sometimes as well. But as I said, using an oracle really is a sacred process that requires your full attention. Receiving intuitive information and ancient wisdom can bring insights that you may need some time to process, and that's why I think it's important to give a reading the time it deserves. If you're new to oracles and just getting started, I want to show you 2 easy steps, 2 easy ways to use an oracle, and I teach this to people in my circle too. Now, it's possible that the 2 ways I'm about to show you are not included in the guidebook you have with your oracle. So if you feel uncomfortable with that, then stick to what is in the guidebook. But if you're ready for something easy and feeling a little bit sacred rebellious, here we go. The first way is to help you understand more about your own feelings before you even connect to the otherworldly. So to explain this, well, I'm going to show you. So I'm going to use me as an example. I'm using my own oracle, Reclaim Your Intuition, and I'm placing all the messages. Remember, I talk about messages, not cards. I'm placing them face up so I can see them. Now, this is unusual for an oracle reading because normally you have the messages and the images face down, but go with me. If you don't have a desk or a table to use, you can just go through each message for this method. And I'm going to take a deep breath, feet flat on the floor, ground and sense myself. And I'm going to go within to sense my feelings. So this method is especially helpful if you're feeling emotional, you're feeling conflicted, you want to get grounded and balanced or centered, but there's something in you that you're unable to express or explain what your emotions are. So I can sense into my emotions, I'm feeling it, and I'm laying all the cards out face up. And I'm going to look at the messages to see which one best perhaps describes how I feel, or the message I most resonate with at this moment. And it's hard to pick just one, like I'm looking at several now thinking, yeah, several of these make sense, but I'm just looking for one. And what is that one that kind of I want to resonate with right now? And it's this one. So I said you can look for a message that helps you explain your emotions and feelings right now. And I've kind of done slightly the opposite, because I can't express my emotions about something, but I know how I want to feel, and how I want to feel is trust. I want the universe to take care of everything that's going on. I want the universe to create world peace. I want the universe to help me with what I'm doing to reach as many people as possible, to reclaim their intuition, to connect, to read my book, to start using oracles, to start living this intuitive, divine, feminine, empowered way. And I'm impatient and I get frustrated and I want it all to happen now. And I know life's not like that. So those are my emotions, and what I want really is just to trust. I want to trust the universe that I'm in flow with the universe, and that everything's going to work out just the way it should. So you can see that's not a real intuitive reading, but it's a great way to help you just get connected back to yourself, to calm the conscious mind for a little while and go within, because going within is one of the great starting points to reclaiming intuition as well. So I hope you like that. The next easy way I'm going to show you is what is a 3-card reading, 3-message reading, as I would call it. So again, I'm taking the whole deck back together. I'm going to do some shuffling. I generally do a perk shuffle, but I won't, because you won't be able to see me doing it. And some oracle cards can be a big to shuffle, so you can just put them on the desk, move them around, and group them together again. So this 3-message reading, I'm going to ask the universe, what are the conditions that have been going on in the recent past? And recent past to me is about 6 to 9 months? What are the conditions that are presently going on? And what are the conditions looking like for the future? And the future for me would be 3 to 6 months, short term. I wouldn't go any further than that with the universe because things are subject to chaos and flux and change. I love shuffling oracles. I could just sit here and do this all day. I'm going to do 2 more shuffles and then I'm going to select my messages. So I have shuffled my oracle and I'm going to take a deep breath, focusing on my first message, which is what are the conditions that have been happening in the recent past. And I'm moving the deck. I'm going to stop when I want to and choose a message. And I've got my first one. So what's happened? What are the conditions that are happening now? And I'm going to choose my second message in the present. And I'm going to look ahead. Next 3 to 6 months, what are the conditions I need to know about? Marvellous. So I have 3 messages and I'm going to share them with you so you can understand how these messages answer those questions. So what's been going on in my recent past? We have sun ray. And this message is a reminder that, you know, the sun's brightness, we do not feel the sun's brightness and the sun's rays the same every day. And this is a reminder to me that what I've been experiencing over the past months is my best has been different every day. Some days I can get a lot done, the next day I need to rest and I do very little. So this idea that we have to be our best and do the same thing day after day after day, you know, this is letting me know that's not what I was doing, and it's reassuring me that was okay. You know, my best is different on different days. Sometimes I shine bright, sometimes I retreat back in for rest, and that's okay. And that's very true of what the past few months have been for me. And what's happening in my present? Well, I love this because actually, a couple of days time from recording this, I'm actually going to do archery, so this is amazing. But it's about design. It's very true because actually I got my journal out on Sunday. And I started writing again, what do I want in life? What do I want to feel? I want to feel financial security. I want to feel I live in a bright, open, airy space. I want to live more in the country or the seaside. So this idea of desire in the present is very true for me and it's very now. So that lets me know I'm attuned to the universe and intuition. And what's coming up for me? Empowerment. I love this from the heart. I'm already experiencing this about being more in my heart centre, and that's where my empowerment comes from, not from my conscious mind, and I intellectually know that. So it's letting me know I'm going to be more heart centred in the future, and that means more empowerment in my life. And I love that because that's why I want to connect with my intuition and why I want more people to do it, so we can feel more empowered. So I hope that helps get you started. It takes away some of the mystique and the mystery of what you can do. So if you have an oracle that's new for you, you can try those 2 easy ways to get started. Of course, we can ask the universe and an oracle anything, not just the 3 questions I shared with you previously. But we can ask anything that we need to. But it's really important that we ask in the right way. So you're probably familiar with open questions and closed questions. And as a reminder, closed questions are the ones that bring a yes or no response, okay? Now, there's no point asking the universe a question for yes or no. Am I going to meet my soulmate? The answer is yes and the answer is no, because all potentiality and all possibilities exist at the same time. So the universe cannot give you an answer. And remember, it's not necessarily an answer that we're getting, it's just more information, it's more intuitive knowing that we couldn't perceive from any of our other senses. So when you're asking a question of the universe, an oracle, or if you're working with an oracle reader to help you, remember you want to ask questions that are open, that allow more information to be given. So you start with things like, tell me more about, I would like guidance on, how is this situation going to affect me? What is the right action for me to take? How should I deal with? So those open questions and those open statements allow the universe to give you more insight and more information. Now, if that feels a little tricky for you right now because you're still getting started and you want more guidance on how to frame a question or statement, if you email me at support@theintuitionconnection.com, and I'll put it in the comments, I can send you a PDF document with some starter questions that you can use and adapt. Be assured your email won't be used for any marketing list. It's just going to be used purely to send you that PDF. And if you have any specific questions about working with oracles, then maybe you can join the next summer school lesson to ask your questions live. So watch on to find out more. Thank you for watching this summer school lesson. I hope it's taught you a little bit more about oracles if you didn't know anything. And if you're just getting started, I hope it's given you more confidence to keep going and to use oracles because they are amazing to help us with our intuition. Next time, it's lesson 8. It's the last lesson in this year's summer school, and we're finishing in style with a live stream Q&A. So if you have any questions or thoughts, or there's anything you'd like me to explain more about the concepts that we've covered throughout summer school so far, you have the opportunity to ask me live. So whether you're confused, you want clarity, I'll be there ready and waiting to answer your questions next Monday, the 21st of August. I'll be on YouTube Live at 12 noon UK time, and I hope to see you then. And look out for a poll coming in YouTube fairly soon to ask you for your feedback on what questions you might like me to cover. Until next time, see you next week.